to discuss about neurodivergent children, especially the girl child, and especially a girl child from the BAME community. The program is Building Bridges. If you have been following us for a while now, we do this every evening at 7 p.m. on Thursday evenings. And it's been quite stimulating discussion. And this is done between Brain Foods and Essence Oasis. In this program, we always discuss about the challenges that families are facing regarding when they have children with additional needs. We all know that it is hard enough to live your life, to be able to fend for yourself, make food available, get things done, let alone having something additional to it, having to provide for someone, having to be the one, their hands and their food, you know, believe me, it can be quite challenging. It can be quite challenging. So today we are going to. Hello, everyone. Okay, sorry. I didn't know I was muted and no video. Hello, Tina. Hello, Dr. Adeswa. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. We are back again.
Oh God.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tonight is going to be.
Hey, sorry. I think I was muted and sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And Dr. Ijoma that will be leading today. So I won't be fully available, but I love you all, and I know that you're going to have a wonderful time.
Thank you. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your input. And now that you're not here, we know you are with us in spirit. So today on building bridges, what we always do is that we discuss about challenges around families raising girl children that are on the spectrum. Like we always say, there is no segregation. Actually, it's an inclusive space. There is no segregation about boy or girl. But if you have a girl, it's a safe space for you. But if you have a boy, I mean, the world belongs to all of us. You could be here and grab one or two things that would help you to manage. Because one thing that I have come to realize is that a lot of us that have them as young children, we forget that at some point we should be talking about my daughter-in-law, my son-in-law, you know. So tonight we are bringing everybody together and talking about what does it mean for a girl child on the autism spectrum to transition to adulthood. Because at this point, we are at that stage, what really has fueled most of our discussion is usually challenges around menstruation, puberty generally. But now, these are two big factors that come in that space of transition. But right now, we are looking at there are other challenges that come with this period, this time space, this stage of life. And one thing that I have come to realize is that many of us with children on the spectrum, we know when our other children are becoming older. We can recognize autonomy. We can recognize when they want to start doing their own things, when they start being on their own, when they start not wanting to be with the family, you know, we understand that because sometimes they actually express it. They tell you, Mom, I don't want to go. And you try to talk sense, you try to, dialogue, and, they make sense to you. They tell you things that you begin to reason with them. But now, let's say you have a child who is either nonverbal or who is either um, proverbal, meaning they can say certain things but not conversational, or you even have a child who is fully verbal but the reasoning is still not as at par with their age mate. And this child will tell you, those who can tell will tell you, Mom, I just want to be by myself. And let's say the child is 13, 14, and you really need to go out. How do you reconcile the fact that this child can tell you what they want, and you know that at this stage of their life they ought to have, privilege of that thing, but you cannot reconcile the fact that they do not have the ability to make certain decisions that neurotypical children can make at their age? It can be a very difficult situation to find yourself as parents. You tell your child, hi people, the cruise, hi Alara. So your child has the mental ability to say what they want, but they do not have the mental capacity to take the right decisions, to know that this is what they can do when this happens, this is what they should not do when these things happen. It can be a very, very difficult situation for parents because you don't know when you are stepping on their toes, disregarding them, refusing their desires, and, refusing their rights to things. And when you are being protective as a parent, knowing that this, my child, cannot take the right decision in this kind of situation. So today we are looking at this dilemma. How does one deal with it? How does one bring oneself to know that I have this child, he or she is making this demand, or he or she is not making this? And don't forget, demands can be either verbally or non-verbally. Non-verbally can mean that you tell your child, look, we as a family, we are going out. Neurotypical teenagers can say, look, I don't want to go. And you probably won't have anything you can do. But a non-verbal teenager can just refuse to go. And to you, the nearest instinct is to try to make them go, either by force or not, which we don't recommend. But the very next instinct is to try to make them go with you. So in that case, this child has expressed their desire not to go, which, if he was a teenager that is neurotypical, they can express the same desire and you allow them to stay, because you know that to a very large extent, if something happens, they should be able to sort themselves out. They should be able to call for help. They should be able to call emergency. But in the case of the child with on the spectrum, the child may not have the mental capacity to stay home alone, but because they are at a certain age, they are already having the same kind of behavior that their age mates have, which includes not always wanting to be with the family members, and you really need to go. How do you reconcile this as a parent? What position does it put you in? What kind of challenge is it throwing at you? How does it make you feel? How do you maneuver this? I remember a situation where I have an 80-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. So we needed to, it was summer, it was hot, it was, lively weather. The 80-year-old needed to go to the park, and the 50-year-old said, I don't want to go to the park. And the 80-year-old is crying that he has to go to park, and the 50-year-old is crying, I don't want to go to park. And I was the only adult that was looking after these two children. So please, if you're here, if you're a parent, can you just tell us if you have ever experienced anything like this, or if you haven't? And Tina, your insights are always so wonderful. If you have, if you haven't, please, let's just hear your voice. Let's just hear your voice. Hope for the hopeless. This is so good to see you. um we would like to hear your voice on this. Fiona, we say thank you for dropping by, and it would be an honor if everyone can just chip in what they think, even if you have not reached that level, or if you have passed that level. We would like to hear what you have to say, or what you think about this very you know a critical situation that parents may find themselves in from time to time, from their young adults that are probably on the spectrum, or just have some neurodevelopmental challenges.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much
Good
for welcoming.
afternoon.
This is Fiona from Jamaica. So I'm
Oh,
currently studying psychology, specializing in educational psychology. So
yeah.
yesterday, we should sit or do observations for about 3 or 4 children who are, one is Down syndrome, the one is autistic level 2,
Okay.
and one is mute. And
Is it possible
currently,
you can speak louder? I don't know if it's me, but yes.
okay,
Uh,
are you hearing me better?
yes.
All right, so I said I was privileged to sit in a counseling session
Yeah.
with an psychologist. So I observed 3 children,
Mm.
one who is autistic, one who is mute, unable to speak, and also autistic, and
Mm.
one who is Down syndrome. And so and that was my first time observing,
Mm.
and it was so heart wrenching for me because you could see that the kids become easily frustrated, they get
Mm-hmm.
tired easily,
Yeah.
and the attention span is very, very short. And the poor parents felt so distressed, so I couldn't really say anything in the observation session.
Yeah.
So I had to the end to encourage the parents, to let them know they're doing a good job, and keep on being patient. Because sometimes they hit the child.
Mm.
With the case that you shared earlier, that the child may not want to go out. So the parent gets frustrated and
Mm-hmm.
hit the child, thinking they're deliberately being reluctant
Mm-hmm.
in comply. So it was very heart wrenching for me. I had to go and mentally unwind from those 3 sessions because I asked the education psychologist, how does she do it? And
Yeah.
she said, yeah, she has been doing it for years. So she kind of gets used to it and knows how to
Yeah.
maneuver these type of children.
Thank you so much, Fiona, for that insight. It's really, really frustrating for parents, because this is a child who expects to be respected, if I may use that word, to be accorded all the considerations of a teenager, because they do feel everything teenagers feel. They have that urge for an autonomy. They feel they have rights. They feel they have to be respected, but they don't have the mental capacity to take other decisions. So it can be frustrating for parents. Parents will be torn between wanting to give them the respect and trying to make the right decisions on their behalf, which apparently many of them cannot make. So I can't imagine what a parent that has to handle two, three of such children is going through. It can be really, really hard. And every minute is like, I don't know exactly who made that quote or who made that observation, that parents raising children on the autism spectrum are 4 or 5 times more stressful than soldiers on a war front. So it's not just about the dynamics of it. It's also about the emotional, psychological, mental side of dealing with all of these things. It can be really stressful. The child is stressed because they don't understand why they cannot have what they need to have. They don't understand why they cannot be who they want to be. Because even, I'm talking from experience, even you trying to explain, the child does not grasp that explanation. Although you still have to try your best to say something, but they will not grasp the explanation you're making. They cannot comprehend the situation. They cannot transfer knowledge at the same time, but they want to be given the level of respect they require as adults or as young adults or whatever age they are. So it becomes a big dilemma for parents. It's such a stressful time. Teenage years is stressful here, but teenagers or young adults on the spectrum is that stressful. So, hope for the hopeless, please. If there is something you want to chip in for us, we'll be happy.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. So, it's me, Esther.
Oh, good to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Stop. Thank you. God bless you for the good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, with the scenario you just spoke about, if you have children like that, you being the only one taking care of them, there's no way you can leave the elderly one out in the house
Uh-huh.
and go out with the small one. And so definitely you will have to compromise and stay home. There's definitely something that's every autistic child you can use or they like when it comes to times like this. There's certainly something that you can use to convince them or make them understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes when you speak direct, explaining the situation, they might not understand. But then
Yeah.
when you bring in maybe rewards, things that you can reward them with later
Yeah.
when they understand, yeah, because of the reward, they are able to compromise and understand you. So in this case, maybe you'll be able to talk to the smaller one and bring in a reward
Yeah.
that you can give to him or her when he also understands and stays at home. Yeah, or maybe something, a game or something else that he or she likes. You can also use that one. I think these are the only two options that you can use
Yeah.
to convince the smaller one. Yeah,
Yeah.
to be able to stay with you. Yeah, it can be quite challenging. I understand.
Mm.
I have only Tiffany, so I can't resonate with that. But as I said, with that situation, I think these are the two ways you will be able to convince the smaller one so that you all stay home.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I really appreciate that. Yes. Those are like very valid, approaches to this type of situation, because you can't cut yourself into two. You just can't. However,
Yeah,
yeah. However, at some point, the big picture here is that for each time you try to bribe your way, I won't call it that, but but each time you try to compromise, there is an impression you are leaving on the smaller one.
Okay.
As much as he is getting something in lieu of what they wanted at that point. Because, okay, the story I have is that I also have a middle one. So that middle one is closer to the older one who is on the spectrum. So what you observe is that that compromising, that giving up, it keeps building up in their brain. So at some point, they just create that picture that you don't like them, that you
Mm.
prefer their sibling on the spectrum to them. And it can be really damaging, eh? I tell you, it can be damaging both to yourself or the child, because what they do is that they try to start creating, is either they create their own world and try to hide in it,
Mm.
or they start misbehaving to get your own attention too.
Okay.
Yeah. We are just sharing experiences here. So
Yeah.
some of these children, when they continue compromising for the one on the spectrum, you keep telling them, look, we have to do this because your brother or your sister does not understand. Look, we have to do this. You are the one who understands. They just start deviating. Gradually, it becomes their world. It becomes, sometimes now, even when that one wants to tell you something, we tell you, but it doesn't matter. You won't listen anyway. And I'm like, why are you saying that? He said, because it's not my sister. And I'm sure a lot of families are going through this. They will just make up their mind that they are secondary, that their sibling on the spectrum is your primary and most loved child. I guess it is when they must have gotten older, maybe as adults or even parents themselves, that they would start forgiving you, knowing that you were merely protecting the most vulnerable, not necessarily not loving them. So, but it gets to a stage where they create the impression that all those compromises you are asking of them is actually a way of telling them that they are not your favorite. So, this is what I know. This is
Oh,
an experience, but I am still very much open to
can I
others. Yeah, Tina, please.
Yes, so I wanted to add to what we're discussing about having two children, neurotypical, neurodivergent,
Yeah,
and there's a situation where you have to go out. One is refusing, the other one
yes,
wants to. And this situation, we have two situations
yeah,
because one understands what is going on, the
mm-hmm.
other might not have understanding or might not be in the position to make a right decision. But we know that everybody has the right to make a decision. Every decision is a right decision.
Yeah,
No decision is wrong. So in this case, we as parents or support workers, caregivers, whoever we are to them, what we have to do in such situation is first of all to identify the reason the other one does not want to go. Maybe the neurotypical has energy to go out, but the neurodivergent is feeling tired, but
yeah,
cannot express it to you.
yeah,
Or maybe the environment does not seem right for she or he does not like where they went the last time.
yeah,
But because maybe the person is not verbal, is not able to tell you, I didn't like the environment, I didn't like the situation, so I don't want to go there. I would rather prefer to go elsewhere. And
exactly,
maybe the environment is noisy, the sensory and all these things. So we have to also put into consideration why we went there the last time, but why is it that this time this child is refusing to go? But with the neurotypical, most of the times they do understand what is going on, but sometimes because of their age as well, they
yeah,
might not understand why I want to go. and my sister doesn't want to go, but you want to favor my
My
sister.
sister,
And like
yeah.
you said, most of the times, we the parents, because our children are in the neurodivergent situation, we tend to put more attention to them, neglecting the neurotypical. And so it puts, like you were saying, they get to a point where they feel like they are not valued anymore. So to be in a position of balancing and also to explain to the child who really understands you that this is the situation, it's not that, but before that, you have to weigh and see if it's possible that the one who does not want to go out, especially the neurodivergent, is it possible I can leave that child behind where it's safe, there's somebody to stay with the child, or I can do other activities with that child, or if the child is somebody who is verbal and who is not deaf and can understand you as well, you try to explain to her and say, okay, if you don't want to go, your sister or your brother wants to go, so let's do it this way. So you bring a situation where it's a fair play.
Yeah.
Maybe because you don't want to go today and your brother wants to go today, let's go on your brother's today, and then tomorrow we are going to choose what we're going to do.
Okay. Okay.
So
Kind
if
of
we are
share
able to,
it.
yeah, if we are able to do it that way, then both children get to understand that it's not always A, that mommy is supporting or daddy is supporting. It's not always B, but we all get our turn.
Yeah.
So gets to a point where the child who is a bit difficult to understand gets to know that, oh, if today I don't want to go, tomorrow is going to be my turn. So let me just
Yeah.
compromise.
Yeah.
So we as parents have to come to that point where we begin to associate our children in such positions, trying to let them understand, like Minister Esther was saying, you give them like bribing is not a good thing to do.
Reward. She mentioned
Yeah,
reward though. She didn't say
yeah.
bribe.
Okay, like rewarding.
She
Yes,
said
it's good to
reward.
reward. Yeah, it's good to reward, but if you are going to be rewarding every day, it means the day that you are not in the position to reward, the situation is not going to be resolved.
Exactly.
So we need to come to a point where there's a fair play, not per se always rewarding. Sometimes we need to, as much as they are neurodivergent, we need to let them understand that this is how things has to be done,
Yes.
so that they can learn to fit in the society where everybody has a fair play, so that it's not always the child gets to understand that it's not always going to be my way.
Yes.
Sometimes it has to be the way of the community, it has to be the way of the people surrounding me, the way of the environment I am in. So that they can understand to fit in the society as well. But if we get to a point where we're always going to rely on what the child wants, just because we want our peace or we want to feel the child to feel that comfort,
Yes.
sometimes it gets to a point where they begin to play tantrums when you do not give them that chance.
Yes.
And it's not helping, because we are there to support them to understand, to grow, and then the things that have gone wrong, we can have a solution, something to replace those things, so that it benefits both of us, as a child, a mother, as a child supporter, a caregiver. So yeah, and
Wow.
sometimes to allowing the child to express why they do not want to go. We don't have to assume that, oh, maybe it's too sunny, that's why the child doesn't want to go. Maybe it's something different.
Yes.
Maybe it's an health issue. So we also have to come to a point where we can understand our children when they are refusing things, when they don't want to be part of certain activities, and then we see to try and then give them alternatives.
Yeah.
Because some of the things that you might want the child to do, the child hasn't got interest in it. So if a child, or even with the neurotypical, if they don't have interest in things and then you push it on them, they might go, but they might not enjoy it.
Exactly.
So we need to get to a point where we need to give choices.
Hmm.
Sometimes when a child makes it, they might make a wrong choice, but to them is the best choice. So we should be in a point where we can support them, even if it's a wrong choice, to see that how best can we help the wrong choice to be beneficiary to both of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, you see, I heard you. What I heard you say is teaching the child also to take turns,
Mm,
because life is like that. You can't always have it your way. Like no matter what, you can't always have it your way. Be you neurotypical or neurodivergent, there comes a time where there has to be, it's either this or that,
mm,
and it can't always be the way you want it. So, and then being able to express here is very, very relative, because a lot of them are not even able to express. So although you give the person opportunity, okay, but I can remember when I said expression may not always be verbal. Yes, that reluctance is a choice already not to do something, so it's an expression. But yes, it's very valid what you have just presented, Tina, because life is not a one-way traffic. It's not always you. I understand. I can relate with that aspect of wanting peace, not wanting trouble, not. Yes, I will speak with two mouths on this case. On very many occasions, parents give in, not because they are weak, not because they don't know what to do, but because of the environment. Let's say you are maybe outside the home, and you know the kind of child, even the children themselves, on many occasions, they take advantage of that. They know that they are in an environment where probably throwing tantrums and screaming is inappropriate. And they want to do those things that they know that you will definitely say no to, so that they will know that you will probably say yes because of the environment. So parents sometimes are also caught up in this, because the children manipulate us many times, even when you think they are mentally incapable of certain decisions. They are still mentally capable of certain, you know, corny ways of getting what they want. So these children also can manipulate us a lot of times. But yes, I heard you. Oh, Fiona. So sorry to see you go. Please do well to join us every Thursday evening. Thank you so much for dropping by. We really appreciate it. So even though parents are, you could see very, disciplined parents, no nonsense parents, but you see them giving in, not because they don't know, or they don't want to, but because the environment does not permit that. It is in this space that they should start teaching the child to make choices, to take turns. You know what I mean. So it's still a bit of a difficult situation, but I did see your point, and it's very, very important, very, very valid, and it's kind of an eye opener for me. I don't know about you that is listening, or who comes across this video at some point. It's an eye opener, because you have to use situations to teach the children their lessons. A situation like that, bringing alternatives, creating options, is always something that works. And another thing I heard from you, Tina, is that every child is teachable. So by the time you bring those alternatives and say, look, today we are staying because of you, tomorrow we have to go because it is your brother's turn to get what he wants. It's a kind of lesson. You are teaching the child, like, this child, as much as we think they may not understand, as much as we think they may not have the mental capacity, they are teachable. You can tell them, look, this is how it is. Choose what you want us to do today. so that we do it. Your brother, we talk to him, he understands. But you see, tomorrow, it is going to be your brother's turn, and we are going to do, everybody in this space is going to do what your brother chooses for us to do tomorrow. You have chosen for us to be home today. If your brother is choosing for us to go out to the park tomorrow, you have to join us and go, because he also has given up on his going to park to stay with you because you want to stay home. Tomorrow, you have to give up your wanting to stay in your cozy room and go out to that park, because it is his turn. That life is turn by turn, eventually, in everything, eventually. So thank you, Tina, for bringing that up. And
Yeah.
yeah, it still comes back to situation, environment, and level of comprehension of that child. Don't forget, it's also a determinant.
Yeah, it's not that we try to let the child who is neurodivergent become neurotypical. It's
Yes,
just it's just a situation where we're trying to help our child to understand that as much as you are in a neurodivergent situation, you still have the ability to do things this way,
yes,
your way, your time, how you want it, your environment and everything. But your brother or sister is also in another situation where he or she also has to do things this way. So we all have to merge at a point.
yes. This space belongs to all of us, not just to you. We can't just
Yeah.
be doing only what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Respecting both children decision,
Mm.
give them that decision, that individuality.
Mm-hmm.
If the right word to use, like each child is an individual, unique in their own way,
Yes.
and their understanding is different. And sometimes one of the child may understand you more better than the other child. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make the other child, sorry to say, maybe stupid or you know. It's just that this is how this child understands. Child A, this is the level child A understands things. So we need to come down to child A level. And this is how child B understand things. Even
Yeah.
in the typical environment,
Mm-hmm.
we have that level. There's a neurotypical, two neurotypical children. Their understanding is not the same.
Exactly.
The younger one may have good understanding than the elder. The elder may have a good understanding than the younger. So we look at that situation and imagine a neurodivergent child.
Yes.
Even if a neurotypical child, with two neurotypical children, you can have that situation where one understands, the other doesn't. Then you can imagine the situation where you have a neurotypical child and a neurodivergent child, where you have to make a decision.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah. It's still a tough one, but we are learning. Like we said,
yeah,
we are here to share insights, experiences, possibilities, because you don't know it all. As much as I'm sitting right here, I can't believe what I get to learn each time I interact with professionals, other parents, people around, because perspectives are so different. Like we are just saying now, understanding is so different. Views are so different, and each of these are valid. And just like they say, two heads are better than one, there are things you hear from other people that you never would have ever imagined it if that person didn't say it. So thanks everyone. Mommy Esther, do you have something else to tell us about this situation?
Thank you once again. I think we should know our children.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you know them, it will be easy to manage them. Yeah, it will be easy to go around them to do things for them, and it will put you at rest as well. I mean, you'll be less stressful
Yes.
because you know them and you know what to do. It's sometimes it doesn't work all the time though, but then if you know them, it works better. So I want to encourage us, everyone having a child, a special child, to know, try and know the child, not just rushing off. I mean, just assuming that she wants this, she would like this, or she will want to go to this place, she will want to go to this activity. But you should go for what she wants. You should know
Yes.
your child and go for what she wants. Yeah, because if she's not doing what she really likes, it stresses yourself. So
Yes.
yeah, so if you have more than one child, then I guess you have a lot of work to do.
Getting to
Yeah,
know each of them, yeah, to
yeah,
that level.
it's not easy, but then I mean you'll be able to work around it,
Yes.
so that it will make you less stressful. Yeah, so that's what I think we should do, to know them and know what is best for them, what works for them. That will help us to make decisions
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
You know, that knowing your child is key, is very, very key.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that if you know that this is how your child is, some children are more sensitive than others.
Yeah.
Some children are more tolerant than others.
Yeah.
So if you know that this is how your child is, it helps you to kind of build, you know, their own, how do I say, their own, you know how schools have timetable.
Mm,
You can have a plan for your own child. You have
yeah.
a hair. So what that child is, and believe me, as parents, we can start knowing our children even from the time we were still pregnant with them. There are things that a child will do today and you say, yes, I know it, even from the day, even from when I was pregnant, this is how he used to behave in my tummy.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand it can be a lot of work, yes, but somehow, as women mostly, I don't know how big our brains and our hearts are, that
Mm-hmm.
you have these things, you have these compartments for each of your child that you really know, and you continue learning them. That's why even as older parents, even when your children are married and out, you could still see the parents who will still tell you, no, I know this thing can only be done by this one.
Mm-hmm.
I know this one is the only one that can do this one. So knowing your child is really important, because it helps you to know what they can take, what they cannot take, what they would, oblige you with. So taking this knowing your child as an example, assuming that younger one who loves going out at this point, from in my own case, he just loves outside. He prefers outside to even television. So you can't even say, let me come and put television for you so that you can stay. But he also loves, nice, nice things to chew and eat. So in that case, you can just say, for me, I can just say, oh yeah, let's go and bake some cookies in the kitchen. Do you get what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
doing something like that would not make him feel neglected,
Mm-hmm.
and we would have stayed home with the one who doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And in that case, we will also bring the one who doesn't want to go to that kitchen and said, we have to stay home and do this because you did not want to go to park. Next tomorrow, we will go to park because that is what your brother wants.
Mm.
See, in this scenario, a parent would have been able to satisfy everyone without stepping on anybody's toe. So we will have been able to bake those cookies and stayed home, still doing what the young one enjoying and
Mm.
not leaving the older one alone or by herself.
Yeah.
And nobody will feel neglected. But going from what Tina was suggesting, we would have still been able to teach this one that even though we stayed home today to bake, it is your turn today. So another day, you will still have to do something you don't like just
Mhm.
because it is another person's turn.
Yes.
Mom, Esther, thank you for that point. Like, it
You're
is
welcome.
very, very strategic because knowing your child can solve a whole lot of problems in the
Oh
family.
yes. Yeah.
Knowing your child, it can go a very long way, it can build a relationship that is not based on some relationships are forced even between parents and children. They
Mm.
just force the relationship, but that is because you don't know your child. It can be it can be true that a parent do not know their child. It's true, because knowing your child now we are talking about takes a lot of observation. It takes a lot
Mm.
of consciousness.
Mm.
It takes a lot of intentional consciousness,
Mhm.
observing, knowing. There are parents who don't know their children, and that's true. So knowing your child can remove a whole lot of stress. Now, going back again, if you know that your child is the manipulative type, there are children who are really manipulative. So if you know your child, you will know that your child is manipulative, and you should be able to stamp your foot even if it is in the wrong environment, like I mentioned earlier. if
Yeah.
if you know that your child is manipulative, you want to meet them at their own game too. That's why some parents when the children are younger, if a child is throwing tantrum, they either just abandon them, or if it becomes really bad, they join them. Shebi, you know how to fall. Let us all of us fall on the ground. So sometimes those are children that their parents already know to be manipulative.
That's true.
It is
Yeah.
two things: that your child is throwing tantrums, and you know quite all right that it is legitimate need, but because they don't know how to express it, it is one thing. But it is another thing that you know that this child is really manipulating me, and I'm not going to take it. And it's always a very good avenue to learn lessons. And thank you so much, ladies. It's such an interesting topic. It's such an engaging one. And look what I have learned already. I wish as many people as possible.
Before you wrap up, I just wanted to add to what Mami Esther said,
Yes.
concerning knowing your child. And she was talking about the activities and stuff. So I also want to add that in knowing our children, we have to learn or be able to identify their physical expressions
Yes.
match with those things, because an example would be if you take your child out, you would realize if the child is making any gestures or doing anything, it gets to a point where you get to understand. Anytime I take my child into a noisy environment, because maybe the child has not been identified as sensory, the noise
Yes.
disturbing or
Sensory
agitator.
sensitive.
But
Yeah,
you as
noise
a parent,
sensitive.
you begin to learn that, oh, whenever my child is in such an environment, this is how the child behaves. So we
Behaves.
be in a reflective mode whenever we are with our children, doing activities with our children, learn their behaviors that comes up, their facial expression, their gestures, whether they
Mm-hmm.
are happy, sad, and all these things can also help us so that we would understand why our child doesn't want to involve in such activities or
Yes.
in such environment. So that it's not just the activity per se, but what happens when the child goes there. So like we are saying that, okay, today we go to the park tomorrow, but maybe when we go to the park, the
Yeah.
child, the sensory activity does not help. So at the end of the day, we've done it for the other child, but this child gets agitated. So and then, like you said, you take the child to the kitchen to do the biscuit. So when you understand that, no, yes, the pack is okay, it's good that my child does with the brother, and then tomorrow we do with her. But then if I should take her to the park, at the end of the day, she's going to be agitated. So it's another problem created.
Yeah.
So you find a solution, like you said about the baking of the biscuit. So we also, as we learn the activities that interest our children, let's learn their behaviors to the
Yeah, their
activities as well.
cues.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Wow. More. So not just learning their behaviors, we should also learn cues like how they make us know the things they want or they don't want,
Yeah.
which goes back to expression, methods of expression.
Yeah, yeah. We as a parent reflecting on anytime you are with your children, whether neurotypical, neurodivergent, let's learn the environment, the behaviors, the
Yeah.
gestures, the activities that went on, so that we know that this thing makes my child happy, this does not make my child happy, so that when we reflect, we as parents can also decide what is the best interest of our children.
Hmm.
As we teach them, as we want to teach them to be part of the society, irrespective of their disability. We would be able to help our children to understand their environment better and make the right decisions for them as well, support them in decision making. If we are able to identify things around our children as well that support their activities, or the activities they decline,
Yes.
the routine we give them. So sometimes we give them a routine, like if your child, they do like a care plan for the child.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as there's a care plan, some of the routine does not help them. But because it's something that has been planned by a professional, so we go
Yeah.
along with it. But at the end of the day, the child is hurting. You as a parent, you are overworking as well. So all this comes to us identifying our children as they transition.
Yeah.
Because as they are transitioning, what used to work for them 3-4 months ago is not going to work for them
Yeah.
as they move forward. So we need to be in that position where we can be reflecting as well as we go along with our children. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I hope everyone that comes across this video will learn these lessons, because it doesn't just help, like Mommy Esther said, it doesn't just help, ease the tension, but it reduces the pressure, that friction of do this, don't do this, you must do this, you must do that. No, you might be saying the right things to the wrong child, and that's because you don't know them. You might be forcing, I remember when our children were younger, they'll be forcing them to do, oh yeah, eye contact, do eye contact. And this is not something they are doing, that is intentional. Then almost every therapist will always be forcing the child, oh yeah, eye contact, eye contact. We don't know what that was doing to their brain. If a child refuses to do eye contact, some concepts believe that it is because they are not able to put that face in perspective, that some of them, when they are looking at your face, the brain is not able to put together the fact that there's an eye, there's a nose, there's a mouth, there's everything. That level of comprehension is not there. So if you are giving it as a prerequisite for knowledge or prerequisite for communication, you are already stressing out the child before even bringing the lesson forward. So going to, yes, it becomes a trigger. Thank you. It becomes a trigger. And in your mind, you're trying to make them to, is it fall in line? because those are days that therapy is all about making the child fall in line. But you are already triggering when you are forcing a child who finds it difficult to comprehend the architecture of the face to do eye contact before you teach them what you need them to learn. You have already set the wrong approach. The child is already under distress and you have not even started lesson. You have not even started learning. So it's already a trigger. You're already setting the pace for disaster without even knowing it. So knowing this child, and in terms of this knowing, I know that parents are doing a lot, but it's also good that parents begin to, do some scientific research. We did not ask you to become a professor or become a educational researcher, but just once in a while, just go to online and ask what causes what. Why is this happening? This is an observation in my child. What could be the reason? And just to let parents know, all researches are not equal. If you want to know the scientifically proven reasons, just type that thing you want to find out, and at the end type Google Scholar. That is the one that is most general. So what it's going to give you in that research is what is scientifically proven, peer-reviewed publications. We know that a lot of people just sit down on their computer and type whatever they like and push it out there. And when people go, those are the ones that will even come up first. They'll just be talking trash. But if you want to know what is the truth, what is scientifically proven, peer-reviewed, scrutinized, researched truth, if you type whatever you want to type, you can type either Google Scholar, which is the most common one, you can type PubMed. So whatever, if you type any of these things I'm saying now, what you are going to find are the scientific, truths about that thing you are looking for. Yes, Tina, we should be curious. We should try and understand. Like, okay, let me say, when we started, when we observed that my child was not very verbal, we started therapy, and the speech therapist told us to stop speaking our local language in the house so that the child can only learn English. That we will be confusing her if we are teaching her English and speaking Igbo to her. And we agreed. And it was crazy until I started reading. And then I realized that bilingual approach is even mentally activating. It helps the child to broaden. It stimulates the brain to be speaking 2 languages, 3 languages. Because for each sentence, the child will be forced to translate from one language to another. And it stimulates the brain instead of confusing it. So people just sit somewhere and assume certain things, and they bring it to you as if they were really professionally correct. So like what Tina said at some point, just because a therapist said it, just because a professional wrote the standards, it doesn't mean you cannot question. It doesn't mean you cannot find out. It doesn't mean you cannot say, oh, this thing, oh, yes, I agree with you, oh, that's what you said, but is it even true? Does it even apply to my child? When we are talking about knowing your child, does it even apply to my child? Or was the professional just writing because this is what the protocol says? This is what the book says should be done to a child that is like this, like this, like that. Do you know your own child? Does that professional know your own child? Tell me. You said she said
Yesterday I was amazed when she was speaking.
Imagine speaking 3 languages. Can you see? He was a professional that told us not to speak the second language, that it is confusing her. Do you know that today, because I decided not to follow that, Today, she understands that local language more than the other siblings. Tell her anything in her language and she will go and do it for you. So if you are a parent and you're listening, do not stop exposing your child to more than one language. It is brain stimulating, it stimulates the brain. My mother is calling me. Mama, I'm coming. It stimulates the brain, it gets the brain to think, and it makes the child sharper. So thank you everyone. This has been the most wonderful discussion, and I'm hoping as many people as possible comes across it, and then let us, learn. Number one, to know our children. Number two, to teach them as much as possible what is obtainable, how society runs. The world is not just about them. And number three, that as much as it is challenging, it is doable. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a very wonderful evening. Um, thank you, Mommy Esther. Thank you, Tina. I think we have gone far above our time, but if you have any last words, we'll be happy to hear.
Me.
Yeah?
All right. Okay. What I would say is, as parents, as family, as caregivers, whoever we are to our children, we can be
I'm in a
friends,
program.
the family. We should all come together to understand the situation. We shouldn't be in a position where we're judging like parents, because sometimes, like this we are discussing, somebody may be then judging and saying that your child needed this child needs
Yeah.
more attention. So what I will add is, we at the other end
Yeah.
shouldn't be in a position of being judgmental, judging this parent,
Yeah.
talking them out, but
Yeah.
rather we should stand with them, support them, understand them. And then also as parents, as I said, that we have to be curious. The more curious we are, the more we get to know our children better. And
Yes.
because again, the more we are able to make decisions in their best interest,
Yeah.
and the more we are able to balance taking care of our children from both diversion, whether neurotypical, neurodivergent, so that there's no favoritism, there's no neglect, so that all the children understand, and then the children will get to a point that they even understand better, and then sometimes they will even give you the opportunity to give more attention to their
Yeah.
children, their siblings who are
That
in
need
such
your support more.
situation. Yes, so we have to come to that point where we shouldn't overwork ourselves as well.
Yeah.
If we are able to understand our children, example, why my child doesn't want to involve in this, why my child, and then sometimes we also have to make the best interest of our children. Example, it might not be just going out to the park, but maybe for a medical, maybe like a dentist or something, but the
Yeah.
child doesn't want to go. Is it in the best interest of the child?
Yeah.
Is the child, the pain okay to maintain? Then maybe we can rebook
Yeah.
the
The
appointment and
appointment.
all this. So, like I'm saying, so when we get to understand our children, we get
Yeah.
to understand their gestures, their facial expression, their
Yeah.
moods, especially. And some of us parents, we need to like have like a log for ourselves, and
Yeah.
each and
Yeah.
every day, each and every time we are with our children, let's see, even when our children are playing with their siblings, let's see what triggers their agitation, let's see what makes them happy, and then try to find out how we can make things work better.
Yeah.
And then the more they were in, if we are able to make like logs of those things as well, it helps us to reflect and see, oh, yesterday this thing happened, child
Yeah.
A wasn't happy, child B, but when this thing was put in place,
Yeah.
child A who wasn't happy began to be happy. So then you learn something new, so that
Yeah.
the next time it's happening, before it even happens, you know
You would
that
have
I have to
known.
bring this thing into the situation before it triggers. So
Wow.
thank you.
Thanks so much, Tina. Mommy Esther, just a few words.
Thank you once again. I would just want to encourage mothers with special children that this is who we are. No one is coming to save us. We are
Yeah.
living with this for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
So it can be very overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have a choice. So we want to encourage ourselves to be strong for our children. When it gets overwhelming and you feel like or doing whatever, just remember that your child, you need to be strong for your child.
Yeah.
So let's be strong for our children and let's love them more and more. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. This was an awesome session. I really hope Dr. Adeswa was here. She has missed it plenty, but yeah, we will keep talking.
Let's appreciate mothers, parents.
Yeah.
Neurodivergent.
Yes.
I think we need to be celebrating parents with neurodivergent. Like they have the autistic day.
Yeah, she'll be having a.
We have to have a day where we celebrate parents.
Yeah.
Celebrate people who are stuck with the situation, like Mami Esther is saying, it's stuck with them for life.
Give them a pat on the back.
God doesn't tarry.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be really good. Yeah, everything is stage by stage. Don't worry, we'll get there. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful evening. Let's meet again next week, Thursday, and continue to stimulate and bring up ideas that would make the world a better place, one family at a time.
It's been a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening and a good weekend.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Online joining us. Please join us. Join our community.
Yeah, the WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Join us. Let's help so that we can network and all that.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. Bye.